All right, let's talk about what happens once the cell is fertilized. So in fertilization is the joining of egg and sperm, and you can see in the picture on the right the very large size difference between the very large egg cell and then the very small sperm cells. The egg is surrounded by something called a jelly coat. This jelly coat comes from the ovary when it was released, and this helps to protect the egg. Which also means that the sperm has to be able to get through this jelly coat in order to fertilize it. So the sperm cell has enzymes inside of it that are lysosomes. They help to break down things. So the lysosomes get released and they break down the jelly coat of the egg. Eventually, the sperm will finally reach the cell membrane, bind, and then insert its nucleus. Once the sperm has inserted its nucleus, the two nuclei will fuse and we create what's called a zygote. And the zygote is now the diploid cell that's going to become the embryo. The very first thing the zygote is going to do is start going through a process called cleavage, where the cells are going to divide. So we're going to go from one cell to two cells, to 4, to 8, 16, 32, and so on, until the cells eventually become very small and numerous in what's called a blastula. And this blastula is multicellular and it is hollow. You can see the space inside. Once the blastula is formed, you can see the blastula up here, and again, it's color-coded into blue, yellow, and pink. And these colors represent how the cells are going to rearrange themselves. So this hollow ball of cells is going to go through a process called gastrulation, where the cells are going to move and rearrange themselves to create 3 tissue layers. An endoderm on the inside, that's going to become your mouth and gut lining and anus. The mesoderm, which becomes your muscles and bones. And then the ectoderm, which becomes your skin and nervous system, so your brain and your spinal cord. Once these 3 layers have been rearranged and formed, then instead of being called a blastula, we now call it a gastrula. Once the actual organs start to form, we're going to call this an embryo.